Esports and the Metaverse, the future of gaming.
If you think about it, I believe for esports and its synergy with Metaverse is one of the most logical if you think about it. And I'm also really excited to watch what will be happening here, which valuable tips our next speaker will provide you to our audience and to me as well. So please, for this panel, welcome our moderator, Konstantin Shirokov, Evangelist at Crypto Kombat. Please give him a big hand. Be louder. Also, please give it up to Diego Gilardoni, Head of Communication at LUDO. Welcome him on stage. Give him a big hand. Also, please, a big round of applause for Rayan Khalil, CEO at Nastasmer. Be louder, please. Don't be greedy for applause, okay? Thank you. Artur Pszczolkowski, Artur Pszczolkowski, thank you. A founder at Alkimy Exchange, CEO at Gamerhash, please give him a big hand. Then please welcome Putley, founder at Alkimy Exchange. And also, last but not least, Adriaan Brink, founder at Funtoken. Thank you so much, Konstantin. The floor is yours, and I'm really excited to listen what you're going to share.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our panel. Glad to see you all here. I want to start with an introduction. I will introduce myself and then let our guests to introduce themselves. My name is Konstantin Shirokov, and I'm working in discovering the crypto space for the 5 years now, mostly in marketing with the very diverse type of projects. And now I'm focusing on DeFi and NFT play-to-earn space in the industry. Guys, can you please introduce yourself, your projects, and your role in them? We're starting with Diego.
Yeah, hi everyone. Can you hear me? Yes. So I'm Diego Gilardoni, I'm from Switzerland. I work for LUDO. It's a very interesting project. We are building a multi-chain NFTs search engine. This is the main linchpin of our business, but we also provide a lot of tools connecting creators, connectors, and we are also developing some tools for play-to-earn players with the idea of the vision being to become a gateway to the Metaverse, and my role is an advisor and head of communication.
Hello everyone, my name is Rayan and I am a crypto investor, and also I own an esports company where we invest in tournament esports teams and gaming centers, and I'm also board member of the Arab Esports Federation. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Artur. I'm CMO of Gamerhash, a platform where 700,000 gamers right now mine crypto with either CPU and GPU. We are heavily connected with esport, gaming, and also metaverses. We are partner of Sandbox, Aavegotchi, and the Nemesis. And our modus operandi is exactly to take the classic gamers into the new future of Web3 gaming. So we put huge emphasis on education of classic gamers.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming to speak today. It's great to have you all here. I'm Putley, CEO and co-founder of Alkimy Exchange, which is a decentralized advertising exchange supporting the ad products of today, but then the ad products of the future in the metaverse.
Morning everyone, my name is Adriaan Brink. I've been in online gaming since 1995. I run Funtoken, which is the largest gaming crypto token. We have a $150 million market cap and trading on most of the exchanges. And we have casinos and other verticals on the Funtoken. And we're actually just launching our new token called X Funds. So that's what we do.
Wow. So we have here people from very diverse backgrounds and industries. That is great because we'll have a diverse opinion and about the topic we will discuss. What do you see as the main challenge of the esports and gaming industry as a whole that metaverse and blockchain technologies will solve? Diego?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, first of all, as a disclaimer, I think you are all familiar with the characters of the Big Bang Theory, right? Yeah? So,
I am.
think, yeah, compared to my fellow panelists, when it comes to the knowledge of the deep technical knowledge of esports, I'm more like Penny. Okay? So, just for you to understand, I am a communication guy. And the way I see the metaverse, first of all, the metaverse, the decentralized metaverse that we all would like to see take place doesn't exist yet. It's up to all of us, regardless of the role we have, to try to build it. What I see when I look at gaming and esport, I see like the basis for the future metaverse. Also thinking in the new generation, the first generation actually growing up, establishing social connections via games. This is like, I think, the major building blocks. One of the challenges is fragmentation. Let's look what we are working with NFTs, the fragmentation of the NFTs ecosystems. We have a lot of challenges ahead, but a lot of opportunities as well. And from the perspective of a communication person, like me, I see the metaverse and gaming becoming the new frontier of storytelling. Listen, going from storytelling to story living, because gaming and esports in particular, with the technological improvement over the next few years in AR, VR, will be more about immersive experience. So from storytelling to story living. And we see already the signals from the industry of entertainment, signals that are very clear, like the director of Endgame, Joe Russo, saying that in a very near future, the biggest entertainment company will be a gaming company, not a movie industry company. Netflix fearing more gaming companies than other TV platform. And also as we look at gaming as a media industry, is the biggest by revenue as far, with TV, movie theaters, and Netflix and other formats. So I really think if we look especially at the generation Alpha, is the generation of the kids who will be living the metaverse. Now we're still building it. Most people who actually are already
do you really think the next generation will live in the metaverse?
Well, they're already kind of living in the metaverse in a way that I can see with my nephews and nieces. Now we are going to the metaverse that still doesn't exist, maybe to escape from our reality. But for them, the distinction between the physical reality and the virtual reality is not that clear cut. So it's a paradigm shift. And I always see it's up to us not to judge, to try to understand, and based on that, all together, with all experiences, trying to build the metaverse, knowing that meta is not the metaverse. So, thank you.
Who can speak next?
From my point of view, I believe that the metaverse will be able to transform the viewer experience of the esports community. As you know, like platform like Twitch and Facebook Gaming and YouTube Gaming, they all host viewership for the tournament of esports, but we don't have this experience that we have in real sports. For example, we don't have experience with playing games home and away, or going to the stadium of our favorite players. And I believe that in the metaverse, all the professional esports team will be able to build their headquarters or stadium, if you want to call it. So once they play tournament, they will be able to create this viewership experience of home and away. And the players and the viewers will be able to interact and do more fan engagement stuff with their professional esports players.
And what is your opinion about, the problems of communication between sponsors, teams, and players, and can it be solved by metaverse in any way or by blockchain technology?
Regarding communication, you mean like how they will be talking to each other?
Talking and financial streams also.
So regarding financial, depending on the platform that they will be using, we can see some sponsorship deal happening in the token that is done on this metaverse. And regarding the fans, well, let's say you open the stadium for Team Fnatic, for example, they will be able to sponsor this stadium as well by one of their sponsors. So this will create more opportunity for sponsors to be able to interact with their players.
Thank you, Ryan.
Okay, so to answer the question, I think that it's also important to give a bit of historic context. That nobody like gamers were really waiting for crypto in general. Gamers are digital by DNA, and they were paying for digital assets for a number of years. If you think about Planet in O-Game, I don't know, Counter-Strike skins, in South Korea they were paying tens of thousands of dollars before we had NFTs. And actually the NFTs came into play, bring all the metaverse concepts which were there on the market, but NFTs put this on a proper scale. And then to answer your question about the challenges, I think that we are still in the phase that we still have crypto community, which is play to earn, but they are mostly focusing on earning. If you think about the Filipino people like Yield Guild scholars, these are mostly people who are playing games to earn money. They don't care about the gameplay, about what they are really doing. They're just to earn. And on the other side, we have classic gamers who are still looking for proper education to really see what's the benefit of the metaverses and about the play to earn. And I think it's really important to bridge that gap. And I think that it will come with the first AAA games which will come on the market. Already Ubisoft mentioned that the next Assassin's Creed will have half of their economy based on NFTs. And when we will see like studios like Ubisoft, Activision, really bridging the gap of classic gamers and play to earn, this will give a huge boost to the metaverse gaming in general. And actually this is something that also we are doing in Gamerhash, because this is the gap that currently the market in general is having.
Artur, you have mentioned the integration of NFTs in Ubisoft product, and that was one of the questions that I wanted to ask. We have seen the huge negative reaction of the community about that. Why do you think is that? Is that justified, and how can we change the opinion?
I think that this is a very good question, and it's really coming back to, in general, strategy of tokens and NFTs in general. The token that Ubisoft put on the market was having no utility. And if we will see that there will be NFTs as a part of economy of Assassin's Creed, which will be collectible items from the game, it will be pure utility, so it will be a success. But the one that the Ubisoft done a few months back, it was just NFT for pretty much speculation purposes without any usability there, and that was a flop.
Thank you. Ben, what is your opinion about the challenges of esports and gaming in general that metaverse and blockchain can solve?
So I think that the gaming world is still very much in Web 2, right? Where you have large centralized platforms like Fortnite, Call of Duty, Elden Ring that are providing this platform for people to game. You know, as we move towards a Web 3 world, Web 3 to me is really about the user and empowering that user, whether that's forking a solution for a slightly different version of it, or the ability to take your earned stats from a game like Call of Duty to Fortnite, which are arguably very transferable skills. But today, if you have the best player in Call of Duty, you are a nobody in the Fortnite world. And I think by really using what comes with Web3, so NFTs as an individual marker that allows you to take my information and my data out of the game and provide value to another platform elsewhere, that really is going to empower the user to play more, to play different games, and really start to earn off the back of their ability, you know. That really, in my opinion, then comes down to data sovereignty. You know, you've seen it in the advertising world, so Alkimy is an advertising platform, and you have the Facebooks and the Googles that buy and sell our data every day, and I think for gaming to continue to grow in the way it has done, it has to do so sustainably, and advertising will become a big part of that. Your data is a big part of the way that advertisers target you in a particular platform where they find you. So I think by really leaning into the best parts about crypto and what will be brought in by Web3 will allow gaming to flourish and esports to flourish in a way it has done just for the next 10, 15, and 20 years.
Thank you. Adriaan, what is your opinion?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, actually. You've heard the term decentralized. I mean, it's been years now we've been talking about decentralization, but the reality is it actually hasn't happened that much, in particularly in online gaming. where you have online gaming is 99% large custodial casinos where players deposit their funds, play a bit, and leave their money there, and have no control over their money. What we're doing is the same thing, decentralizing that, so putting the players' funds in their own pockets, in their wallets, on their phones typically, adding to that the KYC and the registration data, so the players can dip in and out of gaming opportunities without leaving behind their money or their self, if you like. So it's really moving to that decentralized world. It's the start of a journey, and this journey is going to take some time. I mean, we all like to think these in this geeky way, but the reality is you need players, and you need a lot of people and a lot of money in the system before it really starts to work. We're getting there, but it's going to take some time.
Let's come back a little bit to the roots. Diego, you have mentioned that Meta is not really the metaverse. What is your definition of metaverse, and why do you think Meta is not a metaverse?
Totally centralized.
Well, because I don't like Mark, but no. I think Meta is a company that will build its own place in the metaverse. But as it has been said, metaverse needs to be, if it's the metaverse that we think about, it's a decentralized world where based on people that can interact freely and based on user-generated content. This is really important, not centralized by one company. And if you look also, what Meta Facebook did, I mean, is a way for Facebook, now Meta, to connect with the youngest generation that we were talking about. I was looking at the number, like in 10 years ago, 95% of American teenagers had a Facebook account. Today is 25%. So the movement is clear. Now, I think what the new generation wants doesn't want to see a new Cambridge Analytica kind of scandal going on in the metaverse. And so if this generation is really about blockchain and following the blockchain philosophy for decentralization, well, Meta will not go very far. They will have to follow the market. I mean, I might be too optimistic, but I think that there is a movement. We can see it in the different communities that we all interact with. And this is a first backlash due to the current context, which is understandable. But, well, yeah, I think that if Meta goes on the direction that they followed the last 10 years, it's not going to be good for them on the long term, I think. I don't know. What do you think, guys?
I think I fully agree. You exactly touch upon the topic, and I think that it's really important to mention also that crypto community from very beginning was always about decentralization, the ownership of privacy data, and really about community and DAOs, right? And actually, Meta and Facebook shows exactly opposite, right? So I remember that in the late 90s, Microsoft was in that position that everybody were saying, don't be evil. Right now, Mark is the guy, and he wanted to jump in a space which exactly have totally opposite modus operandi. So it's not going to fly.
Yeah, I think that when Facebook first launched, they created something new. Like, they didn't create metaverses, you know, and equally, do we even want the Facebook metaverse? You know, that Facebook can be a very, very toxic place if you look in the wrong places, you know, and when you enter a metaverse, it's a very, very visceral experience. You know, we've all seen the videos of the person that's seen to be on top of a building and they fall flat on their face in their living room floor. You know, it feels like you're there, and that is going to be something that is very difficult to manage when you have bad actors entering a metaverse, which has a much, much greater impact than a tweet or a Facebook post that you see when you just read it on your phone and you put it away. You know, it's literally in your head, in your eyes. So I think we have to move into metaverses responsibly. Like, there's these very dystopian futures like Ready Player One or Minority Report, which kind of freak you out a little bit, but we're getting very close to that, you know. So I think that again, to kind of bring it back to the Web3 point, will be owned and governed by the users. You know, like governance will come from decentralized autonomous organizations that allow people to behave responsibly. But to play devil's advocate to my own point, you know, like you get situations where when people are left to vote, you get Boaty McBoatface as like the next cruise liner that's named, you know, when people just take the piss really. So I think, I don't know the answer, but I think it's going to be very interesting to see how they develop, and really if Facebook changing their name to Meta positions them in the same position they were in the early kind of 2010 period where they owned the entire social media and advertising space. I think it's unlikely they'll hit twice, but it remains to be seen.
Let me add that we are looking forward to the existence of the metaverse where even the creator will not be available to act maliciously. So it will be so decentralized that he will not have enough power to do that. Adriaan, what is your opinion about the topic?
I agree with everything that's been said. I mean, Facebook is a giant custodial thing, and it's exactly the opposite of where we're going. So I don't know how they're going to morph, to be honest with you. I mean, changing the name's a start.
Pulling case of emergency, you know, like change the names, yeah.
Good luck, Mark. If I was him, I'd retire.
I would like to add on this topic, I think the best thing that we can compare Facebook's Meta to another platform is comparing Facebook gaming to Twitch. Like we see in the esports that Facebook gaming failed to compete with Twitch or YouTube gaming, for example, because of the privacy thing. Esports players don't like to share their names, their information, and if they go to a Twitch, they can't know who they are. But if they go to Facebook gaming, for example, and they want to troll or post something on the comment, everybody will know who they are. So I think this is also something that we can relate to. But maybe Meta will change this approach with this new platform that they are building. We'll have to see.
Thank you for that. We see the huge interconnection and the emergence of the new technology that is coming to gaming, being virtual reality, augmented reality, motion controllers, blockchain technology, metaverse, to name a few. What do you see the future mix of the technology that will define the future of gaming, and what technologies that we see now will be obsolete in a couple of years?
Okay, maybe I can take it. I think that in general, it's always the question what we mean by adoption. And for me personally, the adoption will come when we will use the metaverse without knowing that. The same was with the internet back in the 90s. Everybody were doing pages in HTML and thinking about TCP/IP. Right now we are all using internet and nobody knows how it works, or almost nobody knows how it works. When I think about my parents, for example. And the same will be with the blockchain. The same will be with NFTs, where all the the cinema tickets will be NFTs, and people will not know that they are using NFTs. They will just use the usability of it. And the same will be with metaverses. And I think that the moment of adoption of metaverses, for me personally, will be when we will not need any special devices, that somebody will go to a shop, to buy VR headset or something like that. It will be just all over us. And then people will be just using that without special devices, technology, or education required to use it. It will be just here.
Thank you.
I think that for me, I don't know, it'll be mobile related, like if you think about like virtual reality devices, they haven't had the same kind of penetration as a mobile phone, for example, but there have been augmented realities that existed in quite a big way. I think about Pokemon Go, where you had swathes of people walking around cities and where they lived to try and catch a Pokemon. I think that initially it will come through the most ubiquitous device and then grow into whatever replaces the phone, I think, as where metaverses exist. So that's what I think.
I'm not clever enough to tell you where the technology, where it's going to go. But one thing I will say, I was involved in the internet in 1995, 94 when it was very new. I launched gambling sites then. Gambling drove the internet's growth, drove payment systems. An awful lot of the internet came from gambling, quite frankly. And I think the same thing's going to happen in the metaverse world. People dabble around, but the real money is on the gaming and gambling. So, from a vertical point of view, that's what I'd say.
Ryan, do you want to add something?
I believe that one of the biggest things that will change using Metaverse VR is the user interface for the gaming client. For example, I believe that in the near future, we might see Steam as a metaverse, in which instead of logging in and using this basic user interface, we will be able to enter a word and like walk to the game that we want. And instead of having group chats and guilds, we'll be able to have physical location for the communities that will be playing. And also, for example, viewing your inventory instead of seeing it on a flat screen, you will be able to enter like a closet room, and you will be able to pick your skins and whatever you want to play with.
Thank you. And do you think it will be in the nearest future?
Well, it depends on the development of the gamers, but I think maybe in the near 5 years, 3 years, we might be able to see some kind of switches happening in the game developers.
And what do you think is the current stage of the development of the metaverse? Do we see any real metaverse at the moment?
Well, right now we have multiple metaverse being developed, like Sandbox and Decentraland, and in those metaverse we see a lot of game developing happening. For example, we can see Atari taking big lands in Sandbox, and I believe that in those metaverse we might see in the near future, like maybe a few months from now, real game happening there.
But at the moment, the user experience is awful at these games, both at Sandbox and Decentraland, in my opinion. What do you think about that?
About the user experience? I think it's a bit different from the typical games that are already launched right now, but I would like to see the old games like Dota, CSGO, and Fortnite switching to this kind of user interface and metaverse-like.
So I can exactly jump on that because we are moving Counter-Strike to Sandbox. And we are right now doing 2 games for Sandbox, and I fully agree that the user interface is not that perfect and that the fun factor is not there yet, but exactly this is something that, for example, Sandbox is focusing right now. So in next phases, number 6 and number 7 of Sandbox, there will be option to shoot. That's why the Counter-Strike experience will be there. Already in discussion we see from Sandbox that they don't care about just doing the experiences, doing, I don't know, another stadium or another social hub, social spot. They are thinking about the games itself. That's why they are finding the game studios, and they are purely focusing on the fun factor of the game and the gameplay. So this is something that is happening right now, and I think that by the end of this year we will see that happening.
Ben, Adriaan, Diego, do you want to add something?
As I said, on the technicalities, no?
Run out of time.
Okay. Everything is impossible until it's inevitable.
Oh, one thing, we have to be strict on
What
timing.
a great finish line.
But I really appreciate, and I really, I want to say thank you for your valuable tips. By the way, I really like how you described how in the future it might look like. I believe this might be a lot of the things that you shared. It might be in the future when we're talking about metaverse, how we'll be actually experiencing. So I want to say thank you to each of our speakers. This was a really insightful panel. I believe if you have some questions for our speakers, please ask them later on. But we need to move forward because right now we're going to help. Please give a big hand to our speakers. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.